Good afternoon. My name is Gary Sherman. I'm a Vice President and Senior Director of Technology for Liberty Mutual. Currently run an organization called DWE, which is Digital Workforce Enablement. We're responsible for the end user technologies, and we also have some security engineering and security operations teams embedded in my organization.
Great, and my name's James Colson. I've been at Liberty a little over 11 years, and I'm the Business Information Security Officer. It's great to be here.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There you go. Hopefully you've all heard that jingle before, and if you haven't heard that jingle, it's going to get stuck in your head. You're going to be hearing it later today. But before we get going, a little bit about Liberty Mutual. We currently have over $50 billion in annual consolidated revenue. We're number 86 on the Fortune 100 list. We have over 50,000 global employees, and we operate in 29 countries in global economies. And today, we're the 5th largest P&C insurer in the world. So as you can see from the numbers, we do operate on scale. And much like everybody here in the room, we have a responsibility to our clients to ensure that we safeguard their data and personal information. What if this was the sound that you heard every day as you started your work? What if every page took 25 minutes to load, or not 25 minutes, or 5 minutes to load? What if you had to work from home pre-pandemic and 25 years ago? It just wouldn't have worked. So for us, Zscaler architecture and a zero trust architecture really was a key enabler for us to move everybody at home into work remotely. Now at Liberty, we had some legacy infrastructure. Well, it wasn't quite as bad as the pictures I just showed you, but we had, again, legacy infrastructure that we knew we needed to do something about. We had too many security agents on our laptops. They were bogging the machines down. Remote workers could go home and simply bypass some of our security controls by turning off the VPN. We had all of our internet access routing through a hub and spoke model coming out of our primary data centers. And one of the more difficult things is the scalability in our environment was very difficult. If we had to scale, we had to purchase equipment, and it was too costly and too timely to implement. So we knew we had to do something. We knew we had to undertake a transformation and improve our security posture and enhance our end user experience. Again, that's improve our security posture and enhance our end user experiences. So we went on a transformational path to adopt Zscaler for users. We did it in 3 phases. Phase 1 was secure access for our employees. This is where we started with ZIA and ZPA, so Zscaler Internet Access and Zscaler Private Access. Proud to say that today we're finished the global rollout of ZIA, and we're about 80% complete on the ZPA rollout. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a few slides. So once we started that, one of the things that we started to hear from some of our employees was they were having less than an optimal experience at home going through these new technologies. And we quickly realized we did not have the right visibility end-to-end to understand where the challenge was. We didn't know if it was the laptop, we didn't know if it was last mile, we didn't know what it was. So we knew we had to do something, so we adopted ZDX, Zscaler Digital Experience. And that really gave us the insights end-to-end to be able to solve and understand where the problem was or potentially where the problem wasn't. The last part of our journey was to look at third-party access and M&A. Historically, whenever we had a third party come in our environment, we gave them access to a VDI environment, so a virtual desktop. One that took far too long to give them access to. It was extremely costly, and in a lot of cases, it gave them far too much access into our environment, and they potentially had east and west lateral movement capabilities, so we knew we had to do something. And so we then went and looked at the CBI, Cloud Browser Isolation product, and specifically for ZPA, and were able to give mergers and acquisition employees quick access into our environment through the web browser. Now, with every transformation, there's a lot of big wins. I just wanted to highlight a couple of them. First, before the transformation, we can only inspect about 10% of all of the encrypted traffic that flowed through our environment. Post the transformation, we can now inspect over 80% of that traffic. We got a 75% decrease on false positive for our DLP detections. That was hugely valuable to our SOC organization and to other highly skilled security professionals because we can move them to higher valued work. And the last one I'll call out before I hand it off to James is we got about a 25% improvement on MTTR for connectivity related issues for our end users. And so that was a huge win, and we got that visibility through the ZDX product.
Great. Thanks, Gary. We appreciate it. So as we get started here, I thought I'd anchor a little bit on really one of our guiding principles in cybersecurity at Liberty Mutual. There's really three tenets to it. The first one, it's important to us to have the right technology portfolio and the right partner at the same time. And with partnering with Zscaler and focusing on our Zero Trust journey, we accomplished that first principle. The second part for us, it's really important for us in security to have transparency. And that's super important because we want to enable the business. You know, it sounds contradictory, security enabling the business, but that's really what we're striving for now at Liberty Mutual, and if we can't enable, we certainly don't want to impact the business. And then the third piece, and this will become more present as I go into a little bit of pulling the curtain back in a moment, is that it's really important to us that we want our users, our employees, our partners, our contractors, to be responsible users of technology, especially new dynamic technology. And the way that we do that is through that transparency and security awareness. So I thought I'd pull the curtain back and share a little bit about our journey at Liberty Mutual with generative AI, specifically with ChatGPT, Google Bard, and a few other things. So opportunity for all of you to get a little interactive if you choose. But how many people here in the last 9 months either were walking into their boss's office or maybe coming into your office saying, oh my God, ChatGPT, how are we going to handle this in our organization, right? So nobody put up the hand? Fantastic, the rest of this is going to go great. Like, it's going to go great. So it's really interesting because it's everywhere now, right? It's over the last 9 months, generative AI has exploded, whether that's ChatGPT and OpenAI or Google Bard or hundreds of other generative AI solutions that are out there that will allow you to do anything, translations, help your kids pass high school, whatever that goal is. But what's really interesting about generative AI is how it's disrupting and integrating with our environments, and more importantly, how it's innovating. So just real quick, if you think about where a search engine's going, the Bing search engine is already plugged into ChatGPT. The Google search engine is going to plug in the next 6 to 9 months into Google Bard. And then you bring in the automation piece. And there's so many great stories of what you can do with generative AI. In our industry in insurance, things like document summarization, co-piloting code is really key for us. And then the ability to support our call centers. So it's great, right? We're in this era now where we have AI for the masses. It's fantastic. But you know what? Not everybody is going to be a great user of this new technology. And that's where, as a cybersecurity professional, you know, I get concerned, and we got our little shady hacker person on the screen here. But as we move forward, how did we address this at Liberty Mutual? So the first thing we thought about was, what is the perimeter? And you hear a lot of people say, oh, the perimeter is dead. I don't believe that. I think the perimeter has moved, but more importantly, I think the perimeter is now about context, and you heard that earlier this morning from Sanjay, but it's also about persona. And so we approached our journey with ChatGPT in that matter. Certainly, using our Zero Trust technology in Zscaler, we went out and sure enough blocked some things, but we didn't block it for everybody. We looked at the personas and said, you know, our data science folks can really move our business forward if they have access to this technology. We can also look at our sales folks, our marketing folks. So using that persona, that context, we were able to take a balanced approach to how we're treating generative AI. And additionally to that, we really like the data leakage protection, right? We can see what's going on. And when I tie it all back to that slide I had in the beginning about responsible use, employee awareness, we want our employees to adopt technology. And we know it's very difficult to keep plugging your fingers in the dam when every day there's 100 new generative AI solutions out there. And that's a journey we don't want to be on. And it's not a journey we're going to win. You're trying to hold back technology, you know, good luck. The world is changing. But we know that with being able to monitor data, having users understanding what type of information they should use generative AI for and things that they shouldn't, what's proprietary to us, that's not put our code out in public, you know, in ChatGPT to get it checked. That's not an ideal use case for anybody. And also with Zscaler, we're able to make sure we have the security profile. It's actually with our users for their entire journey. That entire session, whatever they're doing, we're tied in with whether it's conditional access policies, whether it's intrusion detection or firewall controls, whether it's domain blocking. That's part of our security journey all the way through there. And I would just kind of wrap it up. I talked about personas, I talked about context, but it really is, for us, Zero Trust. That is what we're looking at. That is our evolution. That's where we're going. Everything we do in security now, we tie to the Zero Trust story. Does it fit our Zero Trust model? And that's one of our major criteria. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it back to you, Gary.
Great. So as you go through every transformation, there's a lot of benefits realized. For us, as I mentioned, we wanted to improve our security posture, and we wanted to enhance the user experience, and we truly did. With the implementation of ZIA and ZPA, it became transparent because we put single sign-on onto the desktop, and users had a much better experience with an always-on access methodology. Another benefit that I want to highlight is the reduced bandwidth. Actually, when we went into the project, we didn't expect and we didn't really think about the bandwidth that we would save. But with ZIA and clear internet access and the client running, we were able to stop backhauling the traffic, and we reduced about 10 terabytes a day of traffic traversing our internal networks, which yielded us over $1 million in cost savings that we didn't expect to get. So that was a big win for us. And then I did mention that we also used CBI for the M&A and third party. We got to day one access. In the past, it sometimes would take us anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90 days to get the full population deployed onto the VDI for lots of different reasons, all the applications we had to install. But through CBI, we simply just onboarded them, and quickly they had access. So those were some of the benefits that we wanted to highlight. But with the benefits also comes some times when you bump your head. There comes some lessons that you may learn. And we certainly learned a lot through this journey. So I just want to highlight a couple. The first is plan for blockers, right? If you're implementing ZPA, there are going to be some applications that may not work perfectly through the tunnel on first try. So as you're defining your global rollout strategy, make sure you work with your app dev teams so that they can remediate blockers in a prioritized fashion and get you working through the ZPA tunnel. One of the other ones is really understanding some of your workload traffic flows and patterns. For us, as we started the journey, we put everything through the ZIA tunnel. And we ran into a situation where our voice and audio streams weren't working as well as we had hoped through the tunnel. We made the conscious decision to bypass ZIA for those particular protocols, and we're getting a much better user experience. And then the last thing I want to call out is choose a trusted partner. Choose a partner that you know you can work with, right? One that has scale, one that has global reach, one that can work at the pace you need them to work at, because it's really important as you run into challenges or shift your project that the vendor or partner that you choose is the right one for you and can move at those speeds. And for us at Liberty Mutual, that's exactly why we chose Zscaler. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time today.